Good evening, everyone, and this is an introduction to my board game. Today is the 11th day of December 2025, and I'm not sure if there are any games that has the same name as this, but this is my board game, just for the record. This is fully made by me, and came up with the rules, instructions, and the box, 3D printed everything, and let's get to the unboxing. Inside we have the list of rules that is printed on the cover of this. It's very neatly written. The cover comes off and reveals the 3D printed board. The game is still incomplete and I'm still awaiting a few parts. There's supposed to be character tokens as well as health tokens that are supposed to be inside of these dividers here. Get into the cards. This right here is a set of cards which are used for actions. And these are the back designs, and these are what the cards look like. We have cards for like critical attack, defend, attacking. We even have things that are feint attack and charge attacks for your disadvantage and your advantage rolls, a recovery attack, counter attack. So what they would do is typically would shuffle these and draw them based on the game. For example, you would draw 2 or 3 cards, and based on these cards, these are the actions you can use. For example, if you use an attack, then the next card you would draw will be added to your hand, and this is what you have, and so on and so forth into the game. It adds a little bit more spice rather than always just rolling for a d20. That's a little bit interesting to the game. Next, we have these are called dungeon tile cards. It's not new to have dungeon tile cards, but I made these into cards. The backs on these are all 3x3 grids, so you could effectively lay them down on the ground and create a dungeon crawler map or what. But these are meant to be used like these. Each of them have rooms and corridors which you can play. They correspond into tiles, and you can really make a map out of these and such. Even right here, as you can see, I am making a complete dungeon out of these tiles, just like that. And you can use these in many ways. You can use this to make your Dungeons and Dragons map, but this is really just made for my game. We'll get to that more in the next upcoming video. And we'll put these aside. And finally, the highlight of the game, we have just these 2 rule cards here. Are these right here. So these cards have a backing like that, and I'll get more into what they mean. But these are actually hero cards, cards that player characters will play themselves. You have 2 of each character, and 4 of the knights, which are the basic character stats right here. And every single character has their own special ability that they will use dice to roll for. And players play as one of these 4 characters. Some of the artwork here. And now getting on to the main deck. The name of the game is called Arcana, as you can see there. And basically it is the standard tarot deck that I took up, and I added additional cards and items to make a fully functional playing game deck, which you can use for games like Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing games. And here is the list of cards and items. As you can see, we have potion cards. We have hammers to repair items. We have various shields, swords. We even have like legendary weapons, Excalibur, as such. Large elixirs, stealth potions, poison, magic mirror, bow, etc. This entire deck here is just item cards, which this is brand new and hasn't been shuffled yet. This deck right here is a deck of encounters, or say monsters or events. They are actually made out of the major arcana in the deck, and every single card has their own stat, from shield, attack, and counter, and they actually follow the same major arcanas. Take a look at some of the artwork. So every single one of these cards right here, they follow the four main suits, the cups, swords, pentacles. But what I chose to go with was fire, water, and then we have air, and we have earth. And for every single one of these cards, they represent the minor arcana. They all have their same stats here, and what I did was I used the help of AI to generate random images that I like of different monsters and encounters, and then I went to painstakingly pixelize every single one of those images, and I had to trace every single one of them and make them into polygons. What you see everything here is the final work that I had to do by hand after getting an image off, and yeah. So it's a good use of AI rather than just slapping on an image that you downloaded on, but it's a little bit more effort that is taken. As you can see, a lot of this artwork is what I was going for. It has a very polygon style design. Yeah. This is one of my favorites. And every one of these cards have a suit number right here that follows the same minor arcana. The only difference is that with the major arcana, there's an additional 3 more cards that I added in that start with 22, 23, and 24. And that is it. The game is mainly meant to be played, for example, as a player. If you were to shuffle these up and you were to draw a card, for example, this one, the player would take their player character card, and these are the stats that you'll be fighting against. Right here is the health that the player has, and this is the health that the encounter has. Now what they would do is the player would roll a d20, and the d20 has to be higher than the shield amount right here, or the defense. In traditional Dungeons and Dragons games, very similar. You meet it, and as long as you meet it, you get to clear the attack. This is the attack value of the monster, and he will roll a d20 and add this value. And if this is higher than the player's natural defense value of 10, then you will get hit and you will lose 1 HP accordingly. That's where these tokens come in the future you'll use to manage your health and the enemy's health. The counter value is very similar to the attack value, where if a player were to roll, for example, he rolls a d6 right now. Now a 6 doesn't clear the 12, so he does not get to hit the monster. However, because a 6 is lower than a 7, the attacker loses 1 health, and that is the basis of how counter works. There's a lot of other mechanics that this needs to be covered, but all that is actually covered in the rules right here and over here as well. And this is the overview of the game. And so yeah, this is Arcana, and thank you very much for watching.